Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. The Undertaker set for the WWE Hall of Fame. WWE legend The Undertaker has been announced for the 2022 WWE Hall of Fame class. WWE announced today that Taker will be the headliner for the 2022 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which has been confirmed for Friday, April 1st at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. The event will stream live on Peacock and the WWE Network. WWE has also confirmed that for the first time ever, the WrestleMania Go Home edition of SmackDown and the Hall of Fame ceremony will air live on the same night from the same venue. WWE noted that this will give fans in attendance an unprecedented opportunity to witness both events for one price. A 2-for-1 ticket special will go on sale this Tuesday, February 22nd at 10 p.m. Central Time via Ticketmaster. WWE noted that Taker will appear on NBC's Weekend Today show on Saturday morning to discuss the induction. There is no word yet on who will induct Taker into the Hall of Fame, but we will keep you updated. Backstage talk on Cody Rhodes from WWE and AEW, Brandy Rhodes update. There is said to be plenty of support for Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes within AEW, according to Fightful Select. While there were some disagreements between Rhodes and AEW president Tony Khan that led to the departure, word is the split was at least amicable. There have been some positive stories coming out of AEW of Rhodes doing things for the roster like setting up a bar at Daly's place, while others have said his tumultuous relationships over the past few years had been a detriment. Regarding the mood at Wednesday's AEW Dynamite in Nashville, word is that things were, quote, business as usual, with one source noting that it was a reminder that this is pro wrestling and life goes on. It was said that nothing seemed out of the ordinary, and most don't expect AEW to try to ignore or erase the existence of Cody Rhodes. He was removed from the AEW Dynamite intro, but that's standard. Cody is still expected to sign with WWE, but he had not inked a new deal at last word. It was reported on Wednesday that Brandy is not expected to join Cody in WWE. There's a prevailing belief within the WWE locker room that Rhodes fell out of power in AEW and wanted a significant raise, but it should be noted that neither Rhodes or AEW officials have mentioned this yet. There has been some excitement and shock over Rhodes likely returning to WWE, and some top stars are reportedly ready to welcome him back with open arms. One top talent said they believe Rhodes' return will be great for fans and considers it to be the most interesting thing in WWE in a long time. Brandy's A Shot of Brandy digital series is actively being pitched and shopped around as Brandy will retain the rights to that show. There's been some speculation on Brandy's pro wrestling future, as many believe she will continue to try and pursue an in-ring career. She was reportedly spotted training in the ring at the Nightmare Factory School earlier this week. AEW Dynamite garners lowest audience of the year so far. Wednesday's live AEW Dynamite episode drew 869,000 viewers on TBS according to Nielsen via Showbuzz Daily. This is down 23.02% from last week's episode, which drew 1.129 million viewers. This week's Dynamite drew a 0.31 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. This is down 24.39% from last week's 0.41 rating. This week's 0.31 key demographic rating represents 406,000 viewers who watched the show from that 18 to 49 demographic. This is down 24.95% from last week's 541,000 18 to 49 viewers that the 0.41 key demographic rating represented, according to WrestleNomics. Dynamite ranked number 3 on the cable top 150 this week with a 0.31 rating in the 18 to 49 key demographic. This is down from last week's number 1 ranking. Dynamite ranked number 39 in viewership for the night on cable this week. This is also down from last week's 26 ranking. Wednesday's Dynamite drew the lowest audience in key demo rating since the move to TBS. The audience was the lowest since the December 1st, 2021 episode, while the key demo rating was the lowest since the December 15, 2021 Winter is Coming episode. The week-to-week drop for this week was the biggest for a Wednesday Night Dynamite episode in over a year since the January 6, 2021 episode, which was the day of the US Capitol riot. Wednesday's Dynamite viewership was down 23.02% from last week, while the key demo rating was down 24.39% from last week. This week's Dynamite viewership was up 16.33% from the same week in 2021. The key demo rating was equal with the previous year. The 2021 episode went head-to-head with WWE NXT. Backstage news on why WWE released Carlos Cabrera. WWE reportedly released longtime Spanish-language announcer Carlos Cabrera because of his age. As noted, Cabrera's former broadcast partner Hugo Savinovich revealed earlier this week that Cabrera was released from his contract on Wednesday. He spent almost 30 years with the company. In an update, Cabrera's release was an age-related decision, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It was noted that WWE was looking for someone younger to take Cabrera's spot on the Spanish announce team. Cabrera, age 62, has been the lead Spanish-language announcer for WWE since 1993, working with Savinovich from 1993 to 2011 and with Marcelo Rodriguez since 2011. His departure is seen as a shocker because he is something of an icon to the Spanish-language community, viewed similarly as WWE Hall of Famer and current AEW announcer Jim Ross was to many fans of a generation. Originally from Colombia, Cabrera worked as an award-winning newsman and radio personality and is seen as one of the most recognized radio and TV Spanish voices in the United States. He still does a lot of major commercial voiceover work. Cabrera isn't very active on social media and has not commented on his WWE release as of this recording. Jim Ross confirms his AEW contract is up soon. As a guest on the J Mart and Ramon podcast, AEW commentator Jim Ross spoke about his status with AEW and how he'd like to end his career with the company. Ross mentioned how he loves what he's doing for AEW despite hitting 70 years old in January. Quote, "My contract's up soon and I'm not looking to go anywhere," Ross mentioned. "But nonetheless, I'm 70. I've got to be realistic at some point in my crazy-ass life because I haven't been. If my late wife were here, she'd say amen to that because he's a character. I'm loving what I'm doing, still fun for me, guys. As long as you keep that element in your place of work, you're alright, you're doing good. I can damn sure call a wrestling match because that's what I love to do. At my age, I'm a widower, my life is occupied by only a small handful of things. One of them is broadcasting a pro wrestling match, as crazy as that sounds. It's a great little company to be with, we're growing exponentially, Tony Khan is a genius." At the end of last year, Jim Ross dealt with skin cancer on his ankle that left him off AEW television for several weeks. On the final AEW Dynamite of 2021, the Hall of Fame announcer was able to return and has been calling matches since then for the company while still managing his condition. Ross mentioned what it meant to him to come back to AEW after dealing with such a difficult condition. Quote, "Every Wednesday night I get to relive my childhood," Ross mentioned. "I appreciate it a lot more than I did in December, believe it or not." Continuing to speak about his love for wrestling and working for AEW, Jim Ross jokingly talked about his commentary partner Excalibur and the mask he wears every time he commentates. JR mentioned the first time he ever met Excalibur, he saw him wearing a mask to do commentary. Quote, "I don't get it, I really don't," Jim Ross stated. "When we were doing our first walkthrough, I said, 'You work with a mask on?' Someone told me it was kind of a big deal, so okay, I respect his gimmick, but I don't understand why he's doing it. He's very, very bright, always the smartest guy in the room, and does a great job, but yeah, the mask, I don't get it. But you know, I don't get getting up after 2 or 3 tope suicida dives. There's a difference in philosophy." So what are your thoughts on today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.